a great season. I like some of those sneakers, though. I'm just going to put that on the table.
69% of her shots are threes. Haley Jones working on Natasha Howard. Foul's going to be called.
And that's officially game, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that was officially game 4. Okay, 4 in a row. Okay, for the Indiana Fever, they just won 4 games in a row. So shout out to them, congratulations. But they just beat the Dallas Wings. Okay, it was a very physical game. Okay, I gotta start it off just like that. Okay, listen, the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings in this game tonight, they were matching each other's fly. They were matching each other's style with all the, the green thing going on. They were matching each other's freak, so to speak. They were both very physical and they were very fast paced. It was just like, it was like they was moving with a sense of urgency up and down that court for both sides. And I love that. Okay, I love that for them. But we got to talk a little bit about Aliyah Boston and this physicality. Even more so, Sophie Cunningham in this game. People were pissed, and I ain't gonna lie, I was getting frustrated for Paige Bueckers because in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken, she goes down with like a lower leg injury. I don't remember if it was like, not self-inflicted, but like if it was just like a non-contact thing or with contact, but she was kind of getting pushed around, mainly with like, Sophie Cunningham, but not just Sophie Cunningham, but the Indiana Fever as a whole. Okay, Sophie Cunningham, the way she was guarding Paige, she was like grabbing on her, like grappling her. If you guys don't know, I believe Sophie Cunningham was like a black belt in karate or taekwondo, whatever she'd be studying, some sort of like martial arts, combative sports. And like the way she was like pulling on Paige and like tossing her around, and it's like, what was the foul calls being called? And then you got Aliyah Boston. People are calling her outright bully. They was like, girl, you're a bully, okay? But like for Paige Bueckers, yeah, so she had went down in the third quarter due to some sort of lower leg injury or some sort of like pain. But thankfully, because like she literally was on the bench, you see her like with a towel covering her head, them Gatorade towels, and like she got her hands in her hands with the towel covered, and like with the camera, of course they being nosy, they so messy. They keep the camera panned in her face. She comes up and like you can see like her eyes is welling up. I'm like, is she in that much pain? I'm like, oh my goodness, please don't let it be a tear, don't let it be a meniscus disc, an MCL, ACL, please. We don't need no more injuries for the season. And then we see her reappear in the fourth quarter, and she was cooking up for the most part. Okay, she was playing, she was scoring immediately when she came back, and I believe she put up a layup from a mid-range shot, the left side of the field. So I'm like, okay, it's like it looks like she's she's appearing normal, she's walking and running up and down, so she was keeping up. But Aliyah Boston, again, like they were just so physical. Like people are calling Aliyah Boston an outright bully. That was like, we need to talk about how Aliyah Boston doesn't just play the fundamental game of basketball. She plays unethically. Okay, it's not just my opinion. This is what the streets is saying. This about Aliyah Boston. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I watch the games with my mom, and my own mom, she don't know nothing about basketball. She be calling Aliyah Boston everything but a child of God. She was like, what is wrong with her? Like the way she be throwing them elbows. And I remember last season, people was like, people be trying to like, what's wrong? What's the beat that the other bigs got against Aliyah Boston? You saw Brittany Griner. She said it last season. She said, yo, if she touches me one more time, she said, if she puts her elbow on me one more time, I'm going to knock her the fuck out. That's what Brittany Griner had to say about Aliyah Boston just last season, okay? Brittany Griner was fed up. Who else? Asia Wilson. She stayed coming at her. And they supposed to be like, they were a part of Dawn's daycare. They both were at the South Carolina University. They both were Gamecocks players. And Asia Wilson was like, I'm tired of you flopping. Flopping is all you do. They got into it about 2 weeks ago. Asia Wilson and Aliyah Boston always bringing it. And of course, Camilo Cardoso and Aliyah Boston, they be knocking heads. And they both was Gamecocks as well. They both was underneath Dawn Staley at her daycare center. And it's like, when we're going to have the conversation that Aliyah Boston be doing too much. Now, again, I'm a fan of aggression. I'm a fan of physicality. But like at one point she had like elbowed Louisa, hold on, how did I say her name? Gosenstoder in this game, knocked her down. Then she had beat up on somebody else. I'm like, bro, when is enough gonna be enough? Aliyah Boston got to get it together. I'll tell you straight up and down. Okay, Indiana Fever whooped the Dallas Wings, specifically in that fourth quarter. Okay, we were kind of coming up in the third and fourth. We were just down 10 points, and we would creep up 2 points. We would just wait from victory from 4 points, 6 points, 8 points. But we had really good looks in this game, throughout this game, Dallas Wings. JJ Quinterly had good looks. She bricked them. Paige Bueckers was having good looks, specifically in that fourth quarter. She bricked them. Who else? What's the girl name? Isaiah James. and it was somebody else, Louisa Goldenstoder. Now, Dejanay Carrington, she was pretty good with, like, making her layups, but she kept getting blocked. She kept getting the ball stolen. She kept on giving up turnovers. And in this game, the Fever had a season high, tied with their season high of 19 turnovers, whereas the Wings had, 15 turnovers? So even though the Wings was literally just doing silly stuff, like just being careless, just being reckless. At one point, Dejanay Carrington, the girl was literally in her face. The Fever girl. I forgot who it was. I think it was Lexi Hall. Maybe. They both played for Sanford together back when they was in college, and they're still good friends to this day. It was either Lexi Hall, somebody that was like right in her face. Why Dejanay Carrington was trying to pass the ball to like Tierra McCowan, and literally just gave them the ball. I'm like, you got to be kidding. Even the freaking announcer was like, that was just so reckless. I'm like, I'm literally shocked in tonight's game that the Fever actually had more turnovers than the Dallas Wings. I'm like, that's incredible. Let's get into it. So in the first quarter, the Fever and the Dallas Wings were tied, okay? So I was like, this is going to be a good matchup, okay? I like being equally yoked. They both ended the first quarter with having 22 points each. The second quarter comes around. That's when they started slipping away. The Fever had 26 points. Wings had 20 points. Third quarter comes around. Fever scored 22 points. The Wings only scored 15 points. But in the fourth and final quarter, they made it up, but it's too little too late. When a woman's fed up, that's just what it is. In the fourth and final quarter, the Fever scored 18 points. The Dallas Wings scored 21 points. Let's look at the individual player statistics and stat lines, okay? Starting with the Indiana Fever, the winners. Aliyah Boston had 12 points, 5 assists, 11 rebounds because she got a double-double because she was throwing them double elbows. Let's keep it real. Sophie Cunningham had 6 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Natasha Howard had 11 points, 5 assists, 16 rebounds, a double-double. Yes, Natasha Howard was getting them that ball. She was getting them rebounds, okay? She was getting them rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell went off. Of course, she was the leading scorer of her team tonight. She put up 23 points, had 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Arian McDonald, she was doing great, okay? Arian McDonald is so little. She be getting knocked down. She be getting thrown on the ground, getting fouled. She be having the biggest smile. She reminds me of Camila Cardoso. Camila Cardoso got choked up by Tina Charles. She's smiling. She be getting beat up by A'ja Wilson. She's smiling. It's like, you can't bring their spirits down, bro. Arian McDonald and Camila Cardoso got to be the happiest people in the WNBA. McDonald had 15 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Alexi Hall had 7 points, 1 assist, 0 rebounds. Sydney Colson had 3 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. And Damaris Dantas had 5 points, 0 assists, and 3 rebounds. And Kayla Simpson had 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds. She played for 3 minutes. And then Chloe Bibby, shout out to her, they just signed her. She had 6 points, 1 assist, and 0 rebounds. For the Dallas Wings, Louisa Geisenstoder had 4 points, 0 assists, 5 rebounds. Arike Ngumawale had 8 points, 5 assists, 1 rebound. Haley Jones had 7 points, 1 assist, 0 rebounds. Paige Bueckers had 22 points. So just by 1 point, Kelsey Mitchell had 23 points. She was the leading scorer of tonight's game for both teams. That's crazy. Paige Bueckers put up 22 points, had 4 assists, 4 rebounds. JJ Quinterly had 6 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Dejanay Carrington, girl, you played for 16 minutes. You put up 4 points, had 1 assist, and 3 rebounds. This is why you still coming up off the bench. I understand, what she said, herself. She left Connecticut to come to the Dallas Wings to expand her role. I know that Chris Koklanis, aka the power of friendship and togetherness in that locker room, that coach, some people are saying he's trying to punish her, he's trying to prove a point, but really, he just wants more from Dejanay Carrington. Again, she was gone for 9 games straight due to that rib injury. She could barely lift her hands up. That's what they said. That's how painful it was. And it's like she got to prove herself, but it's like, girl, when you only put up 4 points, had 1 assist and 3 rebounds in 16 minutes, you ain't proving much. Now, Lee Rue had 3 points, 0 assists, 3 rebounds. She needs to do much better. She played for 8 minutes. How dare they? And that's another thing. He took Arike Ngumawale. Her minutes was very, very, very limited in the fourth quarter. Why would he do that? I don't know. Perhaps she had an injury. He didn't want to speak about it. She was trying to conceal it. I don't know. But that was just stupid on his part. I'm tired of the yoga instructor. Azaria James had 9 points, 0 assists, 2 rebounds. Maisha Hines-Allen had 9 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. And Tierra McCowan had 6 points, 0 assists, and 3 rebounds. All in all, that was a very good game. It was a competitive game. I just wish, again, I only was able to watch 2 games, guys, and just call and analyze 2 games in tonight's WNBA games. It was 5 of them. And 4 of them came on at the same time at 7:30 p.m. Oh, my goodness. I still got to watch some of those games. I might call some of them tomorrow because there's only 1 game that comes on tomorrow. which is the Aces versus the Minnesota Lynx. I got to watch that. I cannot wait. And then the next day, Sunday, I'm about to go to the fair with my family, the Ohio State Fair. Y'all, pray for my protection. People getting popped out there. I was like, I want some funnel cake, maybe an elephant ear. I might just have to risk my life. My nieces and them want to go, so I was like, why not? But yeah, guys, that was the game. Comment down below your thoughts.